this is a pretty cool deal for me. I don't know if I've told this story on here or not, but Matt Hasselbeck, of course, great NFL quarterback, played for the Seattle Seahawks, NFC champion, played in the Super Bowl against my Pittsburgh Steelers back in the day, and also one of my teammates. But before any of that, we're from the same draft class in 1998. And Matt, who will tell you, didn't have the most stellar final year at Boston College, got an invite to the Combine. And, he was like, all right, I'm going to the Combine, I guess. And then after I played in the Rose Bowl and I had declared for the NFL draft, they wanted me, of course, at the Combine, which meant someone who had been invited had to be disallowed. And that person, unfortunately, would end up being Matt Hasselbeck. And I did not know this. Matt told me the story years later. And it turned out all right because he had a workout day at Boston College. Andy Reid showed up. They ended up drafting him to the Green Bay Packers. He played behind Brett Favre for 3 years and then went on to become one of the greatest quarterbacks in NFL history for the Seattle Seahawks. So joining us now, good friend of mine, Mr. Matt Hasselbeck. Welcome to the show, Matty.
You're finally forgiven, Ryan. Finally. I actually wore this for you. This is like the little pullover the NFL gave us this year at the Combine. I got invited to the Combine this year to mentor the young quarterbacks and half the wide receiver group. And I finally, after all these years,
got to go to the Combine.
Got a real invite, not a non-invite. It's like getting asked to the prom. And then you get all ready for it. Literally I trained because my season ended at Boston College. We weren't in a bowl game. So literally from Thanksgiving time until the Combine, I was training for the Combine. Just then all of a sudden I never got a plane ticket. Andrew Brandt was my agent at the time. He's like, why don't you call this number and find out? I called the guy and he's like, yeah, it's very rare, but sometimes we bump people if juniors come out early. I'm like, but only one quarterback came out early. He's like, congratulations. Now you know who bumped you. So you were like the guy. I think I didn't do this literally, but in my brain, I think if I had a dartboard and a face on it, it was like, you're the guy I'm coming after, man. You were the guy. You were my chip on the shoulder motivation. So I really appreciate it, man. It's kind of like the kid that got drafted to the Bulls last night. He was like, I want to thank everyone that ever doubted me. I want to thank everyone who ever doubted me. I was I kind of at the end of my whatever run in the NFL, I was like, I just want to thank Ryan Leaf for bumping me from the Combine.
Yeah. The motivation that I had no idea was abound. And I didn't do anything at the Combine, by the way, except weigh in.
That's what made it worse. That's what made it worse. All you did was just show up.
Yeah.
You're like, nah, I'm not going to lift. Nah, I'm not going to run. Oh, by the way, I'm going to weigh in at 261. I was so pissed at you. I was so pissed.
Well, you know what? You should have been. You should have been.
And Peyton Manning. The both of you. You both show up nah, not really going to do anything.
I'm not going to do
anything. I'm like the kid in the back of the class raising my hand oh, pick me. I know.
Well,
so
it worked out. It worked out for you, buddy. It worked out for you.
I always tell people, I'm like, oh yeah, the draft in '98. Yeah, it's Peyton Manning, Ryan Leaf, and me. Picks 1, 2, and 187. Yeah, that's us.
And our boy Charlie Batch, somewhere in between there.
Charlie Batch, early round pick in the 3rd round to the Detroit Lions.
Yep. Brian Greasy, the
3rd guy.
Brian Greasy to Denver.
Brian Greasy, yeah. Those guys were on the dartboard too, I'm sure. They're somewhere.
Well, you did a hell of a job, man. It was fun watching you play. We even got to be teammates for about 6 months there.
Yeah, that was fun.
You and I were having an interesting conversation. I went up to Boston to speak, and you were gracious enough to grab a buddy of yours and host me for golf, and we had a wonderful afternoon. And then you took me to a old haunt of yours where they had deli sandwiches. What was the name of the place?
Neroli's in Westwood.
All right, and I remember just sitting there. You and I, both 6'5", 6'6", NFL quarterbacks at one time, and just having a conversation. But no one knew who the hell we were. No one knew what we had done or anything like that. We could just be anonymous and have this conversation. And I thought that was pretty cool to have experienced everything we experienced.
That's what you think. I saw Sully, Fitzy, and Murph in the corner in the Boston Scally Cabs talking about us.
Yeah, they were talking about that guy over there. That guy over there kicked him out of the Combine. We're going to take him out back and rough him up. You said something that I thought was really interesting because I wanted to ask you a question around, rushing rookies to play early on at the quarterback position, or whether they're just preempt to having to start because of all the exposure, all the expectations, everything like that. But you talked about being drafted, being behind Brett Favre, and then when you got to Seattle, you know, the first year you were there, you kind of, you didn't get it done, and then got another opportunity in year 5 where it really started to click, and how you were given that leash. And these guys are not going to be allowed for that if they were to mess up. I thought that was very interesting. Kind of speak to that. And is there if you were a general manager, would there be a way you would approach dealing with a young rookie quarterback in terms of when they became a starter, or when they were ready?
I think it's a little more detailed than like sit a guy, start a guy. I
Yeah.
think it's a little more detailed than that. I think what I probably told you was, how do you know? Like that's the thing. I hear people talk about how do you know, and I don't even think head coaches know this. Like I listen to head coaches in press conferences, and I sit there and I'm like, that's the dumbest answer I've ever heard in my life. Like you're just sounds like you're saying what you think your general manager wants to hear, or what your owner of the team wants to hear, or like what the fans want to hear, or these beat writers want to hear. Like it's really stupid sounding, sometimes when some of the stuff that these coaches say. Truth of the matter is like the quarterback has to know what to do, how to protect himself and the guys around him on third down. Like that third down blitz pickup is like the whole name of the game is the quarterback. You make your money in the NFL as a quarterback on third down. What happens from the 20 to the 20 is pretty benign on first and second down, but third down and then obviously red zone, like that's where it happens. But for a young quarterback, the hardest thing to kind of master or like have command of is blitz protection, knowing where your hots are, side adjustments, audibles, all that kind of stuff. Because if you don't know that, you're going to get hurt and your season will be cut short, or your teammates are going to get hurt. You're going to get someone hurt. And obviously, like you can be so remedial and so not ready that can happen on first and second down. Like we've seen that happen too. But no, that's how you. I think that's like the define how you define it. And for me, it took a long time. And part of the reason it took a long time is I got no snaps. Like I'm sitting there watching instead of, doing. But I think for a lot of guys that have had success, Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, I put myself in this category because it took me a long time. The ability to sit and watch from a great quarterback, and more is caught than taught. Like just to sit in there and watch a Drew Bledsoe, watch a Brett Favre, watch a whoever the guy is, be a pro. That is so valuable, and a lot of guys don't get that. A lot of guys don't get that opportunity.
Yeah, it would have been there was an opportunity for Warren Moon to come in and be that mentor. I know when Jim Harbaugh showed up in year 2, like things completely took off for me in terms of how I went about my business as a professional. I just didn't have any guidance or understanding. And I know sometimes with Brett Favre, he was out on his own tangent doing his own thing, but it was greatness you were getting to watch and witness and help.
But even that, right? Like Andy Reid was the quarterback coach in Green Bay, and he comes in the first meeting I ever had with him. He was like, "Hey, study the intangibles of Brett Favre." And I'm like, I don't even know what intangibles are. Like, what's an intangible? Like at the time, I'm like, what? And he's like, watch the way. Like he basically was like, his decision making, his fundamentals, like all this stuff is terrible. He gets away with stuff that like no one else is going to get away with. But here's where he's so special. He's an incredible leader. Like he has the ability to bring energy to any situation that he's in. He has the ability to motivate his teammates, like they don't even know that he's doing it. He has the ability to intimidate the opponent without even saying a word. And there's other little things. Like he knows the name of every single person in this building, from the person that like cleans the floors to the person that signs the checks. Like he knew everybody's name. And those things are things that absolutely matter if you're the franchise quarterback. Some guys are like, yeah, come on, serve me, man. I'm the franchise QB. Like, man, no, that's not it. And you see a lot of guys come in like, oh, I was a first round pick. I was spoiled at my SEC school. I was whatever. And like that is not it. The best quarterbacks are the guys that are like, hey, what can I do for you? What can I do to make other people better? And then I think you see that. I think you see that in the Tom Brady's and the Peyton Mannings and the Brett Favre's, like a lot of guys like that. But to see it modeled every single day, and that's what Andy Reid told me to like, hey, have your antenna up for that. Study that. Don't study like how he throws the ball late down the middle. Don't study how he throws the ball like from his knees after he trips on a running back. Like that's not it. That's not what makes you great. And it's not always the things that get on whatever Sports Center top 10. It's those boring plays that kind of keep the team out of 2nd and 11 and give the play caller 2nd and 4 instead. And I studied that for 3 years. I studied that stuff.
It had to have been impressive. This leads you to the Caleb Williams conversation. We have a staunch Chicago Bears fan in the room here.
Ooh,
Polly
that's
Paps.
tough.
Yeah.
Been tough lately.
Yeah,
Been
yeah.
tough.
Been tough. Been tough for a long time for quarterback
You
position.
always have the Super Bowl shuffle, though. That was one of the great things that's ever been made,
Yep.
ever.
And Walter Payton, right? So they
Yep.
got those two things.
And more than that.
Yeah.
But,
Can the Bears, could they ease into Caleb Williams, or has their hand been forced with everything that's gone on and no veteran there and all the pieces they put into place with Keenan Allen and DJ Moore and DeAndre Swift, all the things that are there, is there just no way to ease Caleb Williams into what he's about to get into?
Yeah, you can do it other ways. There's guys that start day one, first overall picks. They start day one. You take your lumps, Troy Aikman, Peyton Manning. It doesn't look good for a year. Then at some point it clicks. The rest of the team catches up. The defense is good. The playmakers are good. I think the Bears have done a really nice job of surrounding this young quarterback with great talent. The defense is solid, right? The defense is solid. The playmakers on offense, they're clearly investing in that. So yeah, I mean, there's another way to do it. I would just say this though: you're putting all your chips on that quarterback being who you think he is. You're putting all your chips on the fact that that guy is not only physically gifted but mentally tough enough. And then, like, this is the analogy I use a lot of times with the quarterbacks that I coach. It's kind of like, to use a golf analogy, that's kind of what quarterback is. You have to make your putts the first time. When the opportunity is there to make it, you get one opportunity. That's it. And a lot of quarterbacks that I've been around, they could have made that throw. Oh, let me try again. I can make that throw. Yeah, I know you can make that throw. There's like thousands of people out there that could make that throw. But there's like 15 that can make it at the moment that it needs to be made when that opportunity comes. And those are the guys that never look back. Those are the guys whose teams go on an ascension, that other free agents around the league say, hey, man, I want to team up with that guy. And I think that's like one of the things. I ended my career in Indianapolis with Andrew Luck. He was one of those guys. There's a lot of guys that could make that throw. He made it when it needed to be made. Whether it was a playoff game, we're the worst team in football. No one's expecting us to have a good year. Rookie quarterback, boom, upset on the road. There's certain players, certain quarterbacks, certain golfers who do that. Like, he nailed that eagle putt and had the other guy two putted. That's the difference. That's the rare air that we're talking about. So that's just the danger, I guess, right? That the Bears are saying, hey, we're going to sink or swim. We're going to, as a GM or a head coach or whoever, we're going to get a next contract based on this one guy.
Yeah.
And there's other philosophies out there that I think the risk management is less, but it's certainly very exciting. If you're a Bears fan, like, you finally feel like, hey, we might have something special here. And honestly, I hope they do. I hope they do. It'd be fun. It's always fun when the Bears are good.
It's always fun when I see guys who come out of college have success. That's what I want to see. I always want to see that because I know how darn hard it is to do it.
It's hard, Ryan. Like, if my son gets drafted someday, like, I hope for him that he comes into a quarterback room with, an amazing play caller, a great quarterback coach, hopefully like either a veteran and a young guy, or a young guy and a veteran, somebody with gray hair, and then a quarterback room that is stacked. Like, I feel so fortunate. I come into that quarterback room. Mike Holmgren's the head coach. Andy Reid's the quarterback coach. Brett Favre's the starting quarterback. The backup quarterbacks are Doug Peterson and Rick Meyer and me. Like, they paid me $62,500 to be on the practice squad that first year. And I'm sitting there like, these people are idiots. I should be paying them to be in this room. I get to be in this room.
Yeah.
It was like Harvard Business School for quarterbacking. Like, it was amazing. Did I play? No. I sat there and practiced holding for field goals for Ryan Longwell because Sean Landetta didn't want to do it. Like, it was amazing. It was an amazing experience. And a lot of guys don't get that. They get chewed up and they get spit out, and then people say like, "Ah, man, that guy can't play." It's like, yeah, it was a tough situation though, dude. That was not ideal.
It was not ideal in a lot of situations. You made the most of it. I love spending time with you. You are, you find your humility a lot as a former player, as a former maybe not great player, when you interact with guys that had great careers, or there's a humility that comes with it, because you realize, like, hey, these are special individuals. I will say this about Matt Hasselbeck to everybody out there who clearly you can get the gist from knowing him on the screen. He's very down to earth. He's a good friend. He's been very supportive of me. And it's awesome hanging out with him and stuff. So it's real appreciative that you took your time to be part of the show today, and good to see you.
Yeah. Hey, I hope you work on that 39 putts that you had last time we played golf, by the way.
I still beat you by 39
putts.
Probably, though.
You probably did.
I did. I went out to Bandon with the crew, with Joey and everybody, those guys. Got told the tequila story, by the way. We'll tell that one another time for you. But yeah, the putting has improved. I got a new putter. So yeah, watch out, people.
Awesome.
Out.
Congrats.
Thanks,
Great
buddy.
to be with you, Ryan.
You too. Matt Hasselbeck, everybody, former Seattle Seahawks NFL quarterback, and of course, former uninvited combine member because of Ryan Leaf.